Welcome back to Koilel Kol Shira and Breslov.org. Eish Zara Asher Lo Yitziva Oisam. It was a strange fire that they weren't commanded to bring. They weren't supposed to bring this. Noda v'aviyu hikrivu eish Zara b'yoim shehis chanech ha-Mishkan. The day that the Mishkan was going to be inaugurated. They went and they brought this. They brought the Ketairis, specifically the Ketairis. They brought it when they weren't supposed to bring it. Now we learned a few things. Remember, we learned the beautiful medrash that Rav Nassim brought down for us. What happened when Moshe Rabbeinu went up to Shemayim, and he met the Satan. He met the Satan over there. And the Satan couldn't believe that a human being can be in Shemayim. It's almost a tata desastre. How can it be that a human being is supposed to be in the world, but Moshe Rabbeinu was a human being in Shemayim? So the Sitra Achra was so happy that he saw that someone was able to do this. He said, "I want to give you something." He told Moshe Rabbeinu, and what did he tell Moshe Rabbeinu? "I want to give you. I want to teach you the importance of the Ketairis, of the Pita Maketairis. I want to teach you the importance of the Pita Maketairis." And he said that there's only one thing that can stop me. And the only thing that can stop me, the Malach HaMavis said, is what? Ketairis. The Ketairis can stop me. Anytime there's a Magefa going on in Klal Yisrael, and you'll say the Ketairis can stop me. And we know that many of the tzaddikim said, when the corona started originally, make sure you say the Ketairis, and that was the reason, one of the reasons why, because that's how you could ward off the Magefa with the Ketairis. So here we had Nadav and Avihu, two great, awesome tzaddikim. These tzaddikim were so great, they didn't want to get married. Why? They felt that they wanted to go higher and higher and higher, and they didn't want to be bothered. They felt that it wasn't important for them to be married because that'll just take away from their avodas Hashem. But that was a mistake, because you're going to see right now. But again, don't forget, these were amazing tzaddikim. It's hard to say that they did anything wrong. Chas v'sholom, these were amazing people. Anyway, Kiheim hayu tzaddikim gedolim v'noiraim ma'oid. See what the Rebbe writes here? These were awesome tzaddikim, ma'oid, very awesome. K'may shamra b'seinu zal. As Chazal teach us, and because they saw the Maisim Royim, they saw the evil things going on in the world. That after all of those miracles that Moshe and Aaron did for Klal Yisrael, to take us out of Mitzrayim, to take us out of Mitzrayim, to cross the sea, and Kabbalah Satira. But yet how they went and they stooped so low, and we made the Egel Azov. It's very important to talk about it because this week is also Parshas Parah, right? And we learned that the Parah, why was it so important, the Parah? Because the mother cow, says the Medrash, the mother cow comes and cleans up the mess that the baby cow made. The same way a mother goes and the mother cleans up after her child, right? That's what it's a normal thing. The mothers clean up after their children. What does it mean that they clean up after their children? Because they understand that the children made a mistake, and that's what the parah did. But these tzaddikim, they saw this going on. Let's just turn the page 1 second here. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when we had the Torah, we know is Hafaleim Har Chagigas. The mountain was over us. The Koilos and the Vrakim. We heard the words of Rabbeinu Shalom said, Noichi Hashem Elokecha. We heard these things. We never, no human being ever experienced anything like that. Afal Pichein, Hiskabru ha'erev Rav v'kilkulu kol kach. The Erev Rav. Those were the people that Moshe Rabbeinu took out. Moshe Rabbeinu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu, don't take them. But Moshe Rabbeinu says, no, I can work with them and we'll make them great too. We'll make them great. And well, we see what happened. Mishkan. So now they thought that now that the Mishkan was erected, now the Mishkan is erected, V'yarda Shechina liYisrael, and the Shechina came down to dwell on Klal Yisrael. V'nasa tikkun nifla b'chol olamos, and there was a tremendous tikkun that was made, an awesome tikkun that was made in all of the worlds. Mashallah hoisa kazois b'imais olam, that never was in the world till that day. There was such tikkunim, such repairs that were going on in all of creation that didn't happen until that very day. Kamuva b'zayir HaKadosh me'oitzim kedushas malas haras hayoyim kadosh v'anoira hahu shehukum b'ya Mishkan. How awesome that day was. The Zayir explains us how awesome that day was. Shenatal esa hatoros, that they had 10 different crowns. V'heye by or hagonas, and the hidden light was revealed to them. Through the Torah, we know that the Or HaGonas, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was Gonas, the light in the Torah. The world, the light that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu put the light away. We know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put the light away and He put it into the Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put the light into Shabbos. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put the light into the Chanukah candles. Okay. Aragonas. Balkain Savu Sha'ata Eis Levaru Lechalois Sitra Acha Legamre. Now we can totally vanquish and eradicate the Sitra Acha, the Satan, the Malach HaMavis. We can get rid of him now because there was such greatness going on at that day. So they thought we could actually finish this up now. And it'll only be good. We'll only be close to Hashem. Until the wicked people won't have the power, the will, the power. All of those people, all of those liberal, well, okay, whatever. All of those guys. Okay. All of those guys that are trying to pull us down. They thought that we can get rid of all of those. They can get rid of everyone. So they thought that they can bring this fire and they can vanquish and eradicate the Sitrach and the Malach HaMavis. They can vanquish and eradicate the power of the Erev Rav. Because this was going to be an Eish HaMishpat. This was going to be a fire of judgment with an awesome holiness. That it's like we say, that in Mitzvah Hashem, what's going to happen is all of when Mashiach is going to come, in Mitzvah Hashem soon, or in Mitzvah Hashem today, that all the riches of the world will just go up in smoke, like a smoke. It'll be nothing. You'll see it's really nothing. Tichle oz. They thought that that's what they can accomplish. Because they knew that the greatest thing to clarify the holiness in the world, they understood this, is through the Ketores. They threw this. V'heim to'u v'savru shekvar giu eis. They thought, they made a mistake, and they calculated that the time already came, but it was a mistake. V'yesh b'koychem lo'oitzim kidushasam, because they knew how holy they were, and they knew how holy what their actions were, what they were trying to accomplish. All they were trying to do is to do good for the world. They wanted to do good for Klal Yisrael, for the whole Bria. Levar kol harava klibas legamri. Al ken hikru eish ketirish shaloi bezmana. And therefore they brought it in an untimely in an untimely time. That's the problem that they had. Oh, that's the problem. The Torah calls it a strange fire. It was a strange fire because it wasn't a fire that HaKadosh Baruch Hu asked them to do at that time. And therefore they were punished and they were burnt. They were burnt. In other words, they were so holy. They were so holy. And the flame that they lit was so holy. But the problem was it wasn't the right time. It wasn't yet the right time. Perhaps if they would have waited, it could have happened. But they did it again before the Rabbeinu Shalom asked them to do it. Ki efsha, look what the Rebbe says now. Ki efsha lidchay kesashah. Because it's impossible to push the time quicker. We can't be daichek esashah. There's a time for everything, and at that proper designated time it'll happen. Don't try to bring things quicker. Wait it out. Don't be daichek esashah. That's the biggest mistake. But because their kavanah, even though it was a mistake, and even though what they wanted to do was good, but because what they wanted to do was good, al ken zochu shal yedei misosam tiknu harbe. They did still cause a lot of tikkunim. They still caused a lot of repair. How do we know? Ki niskadesh hamishkan al yodam. Because through their action, the Mishkan was sanctified. Through their action, that's what caused the sanctification of the Mishkan. K'may Shem Rabbi Seinazal in Vayikra Rabbah. Sh'ama Moshe Rabbeinu said, Sava Yisi sheyiskadesh HaMishkan B. I thought that I was going to be Mekadesh the Mishkan. Oy b'cho by you, with you. He was talking to Aharon. Moshe Rabbeinu was saying, I didn't know if the Mishkan is going to be, I'm going to sanctify the Mishkan, or you're going to sanctify the Mishkan. Achshav ani roya. Now Moshe Rabbeinu says, I see now, shehem gedoyle mimeni umimimcha, that they, your children, Aharon, Nadav and Avihu, are greater, your children are greater than you and I. This is Moshe Rabbeinu saying this. Moshe Rabbeinu said that he saw that the Mishkan was sanctified, and he thought it was going to either be through him or through Aharon. But he saw that it was sanctified through Nadav and Avihu. Achshav ani roya sheim gedolim mimeni umimcha. V'afal pichein loy also biyadam l'sakein b'chayayim. They weren't able to, even that it was so great. But because they were doichek etzashah, so they weren't able to do this in their life. Adarabba, nenshu, v'nechshav lohem lo'ovan. It was the opposite. They were punished, and it was compared to a sin. Rak garmu tikkun al yedei misasam. But the tikkun happened through their death. Via the death of Nadav Avihu. Via their death, that's how the tikkun happened. Sheniskadesh HaMishkan, the Mishkan was actually sanctified through them, through their actions. Not through their actions when they were alive. Because of what they did. Because of the fire that they lit. And they lost their lives, and they gave their lives for that. Because of that, that's how the Mishkan was sanctified. Sheniskadesh HaMishkan shehu bechinas heichal hakodesh al yedei histalkusam. Through their histalkus, through their leaving the world, through them leaving. Ki tzadikim gedolim kiniskalkam heim bo'im miyad lebechinas Shabbos. Because when the tzaddikim, when they leave the world, heim bayim miyad lebechina Shabbos. They come to this place of kulei Shabbos. They come to the place of Shabbos. V'zoichem liyoyim shekulei Shabbos emenucha. That's what happens for the tzaddikim. And let us remember, really, it's v'amech kulam tzadikim, the Mishnah says in Pirkei Avos. V'amech kulam, so we should understand this. Ki kat tzadikim gedolim shenistalkem heim boyim miyad lemechinas havas zeichen liyom shekulish havas bechinas. Yovay shalom v'yanuchu al mishkavaisam. They come in peace and they rest in their dwelling place. Yanuchu, what does that mean? Daika bechinas Shabbos umenucha. Shabbos and the rest in the tranquility. K'maisha kosa b'daniyav hata leich l'kaitz v'tzanuach. Me'acha shenichlolam v'bechinas kedushas hayon kulei Shabbos umenucha. Now we're going to finish up by Deizen Niskadesh Mishkan, and that's how the Mishkan was sanctified. Shu bechinas binyan heichal hakodesh, and that's what which is an aspect of building the heichal hakodesh. Shenuchol la'asayik bazel l'kariv nafshos nefashos la'Hashem Yisbarach. That's how we're able to bring closer than the nefashos to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because we know that if a Yid Chas Shalom made a mistake, and he did something by mistake, and they had to bring a carbon. So they got closer to the Rabbeinu Shalom. What? Through the Mishkan. They brought their carbon. A person had to say thank you for something. Right? They said they had to say thank you, Hashem, for something. So what they did is they brought a carbon taida, they brought a carbon shlum, they brought carbonis to get closer to the Rabbeinu Shalom. Ki ein banu kayach la'asik bazeh, ki ein b'kayach hatzadik emes, hamuflogim b'mala, mi'oich nistalku sheheim b'china Shabbos. And we know when the tzaddikim leave the world, they're an aspect of Shabbos, and that's why the tzaddikim are always up in Shemayim. And the tzaddikim, we know that the Chazal teach us that Godel on the tzaddikim, that when they're in the Yom Yisosam, they're greater than in Bibechayeyim. That when the time of their death, they are actually greater and they can accomplish more and do more than even when they're alive. Because when they're alive, they're bound by the confines of this world. But when they go to the next world, in the next world, there's no concept of time or level or anything. It's all boundless. We don't even understand. We can't understand it. But it's a place of Kulei Shabbos. And that's why the tzaddikim can help us all the time. In the Mitzvah Hashem, all the tzaddikim will taka be a meilitz yosha for all of Klal Yisrael. And we should be zeicher this Shabbos to be able to bring and find this paraduma with the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu b'karav b'yameinu mamish.